Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's CSFA webinar, The Pyramid of Wellness, a Model for Optimal Wellness Design. Such a great topic for us today. We're here today with Jeremy Daniel from PowerPlate and Les Johns from the Gray Oaks Country Club. My name is Laura Genovese, and I have the great pleasure of being part of the CSFA team and supporting the production of our CSFA monthly webinars. And it is my pleasure to get to introduce you today to our two speakers. First, I'll start with Jeremy Daniel. Jeremy received his MS in neuromuscular physiology, where his research focused on exploring the influence of vibration in injury recovery. He spent several years as a strength and conditioning coach, specializing in injury prevention in athletics and special populations. He has an impactful history over the past decade, running gyms, corporate wellness programs, and advising startups in the health and wellness space. And now, as the director of product marketing for PowerPlate, Jeremy educates leaders in different industries across North America on how to enhance and optimize movement and recovery using vibration technology. Welcome, Jeremy. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we are also joined today by Mr. Les Johns. Les joined the Gray Oaks team in 2005, where he helped incorporate the golf and fitness program, which enhances the golfer's game and healthy lifestyle. In 2010, he became the director of wellness and fitness at Gray Oaks. And in 2017, he helped plan and implement a 33,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. Welcome, Les. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and pass it over to you guys. Have fun.
All right, thanks. So kind of getting started today, the objective is really to understand the whole point of the wellness pyramid, how it influences your program and space design so that you can give people the opportunity to be at the highest state of wellness that they can go after. So today we really want to be simple, effective, and efficient with all that this centers around. So as we get going into this, I want to make sure that the definition of wellness is all on the same page with everybody. The Global Wellness Institute, in my opinion, has the greatest one, which is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that can lead to a state of holistic health, meaning the body as a whole unit. But it also talks about the pursuit, meaning it's something that we have to actively seek after. And so it's our responsibility as health and wellness professionals to create environments, programs, spaces that facilitate people to be proactive in their pursuit of wellness. And the idea in the pyramid is bringing it down to a simple ability to give you being adaptable, so that as the environment, as the culture, as priorities, needs, wants all change and evolve with time, you have an adaptable way to create programs and spaces to do it while still being flexible to implement them quickly and pivot on the spot, on the fly as you need. So then moving forward, just looking at the simple pyramid, 3 pieces: foundation of physical, mental in the middle, and social being the pinnacle of the entire thing that we're trying to build up to. And so as looking into this, we want to define what physical wellness is so that we understand how we can prepare for it and design spaces and programs around it. And physical wellness is putting your body with optimum physical activity, nutrition, and sleep so that you can move and function optimally. Meaning not just you can do these things, but you can do them at the level that you should be. And the reason why this is the foundation is because a body that cannot move and function well can never begin to be well. It's never going to hit the same levels of wellness if the body is always hurting, if it's always got different ailments and different problems that arise from just being physically unwell. So the top needs when you're looking at what do I do with my space, what do I do with my programs, the first thing I always present to people is be innovative with your equipment. Using things that are multifunctional, that can do more than one activity at once, like benches with integrated storage, dumbbells with variable weights, all these things that can integrate inside of one thing, or something like PowerPlate that we implemented around the nation, looking at it as an all-in-one piece of equipment, warm up, workout, and recovery all in one, so that you don't need extra pieces of equipment for the other domains of achieving physical wellness. So when you have these different types of integrated multifunctional pieces, it allows you to have an optimal layout, because the most important thing in an optimal layout is free space. The number one thing people want in a physical wellness oriented space is free space. because in that space, it gives them the flexibility to do what they want to do and change it up as they go. It also gives them the adaptability, because there's a lot of people out there like me that get exercise claustrophobia, meaning even though I know you're really far away, when you feel like you're close to my space, when I'm trying to do my physical activity, I feel like you're sitting on top of me and I can't move. And I know that this creates a negative impact on other people like me out there in the world, and makes what could be already hard for them to do, which is going after physical wellness, and make it even harder. And our goal is to try to avoid that, creating these. And so when you have the free space and you've created this environment, now you also need to be sure that the programming is relevant. Because if you have all the stuff in the world and you're offering, circus juggling for people who have no arms, it's not a good match. So what you need to do is looking at surveying the membership. What activities are most important to them? And more importantly, in the proactive sense that we're going after, what do they want to do next? It doesn't always have to be fitness specific in these activities. It could be, are they into walking? Are they into hiking? But for you, it's on your responsibility to determine, what do they want to do? Do I have the right equipment for it? And how do I lay it out to where they have as much free space as maximized as possible, so that they can achieve this on their own accord? And then you've set the foundation now that your physical wellness environment programs are all set up to be adaptable, flexible, and ready to go after the next phase, which physical wellness supports, which is mental wellness, or maintaining your mind's equilibrium or balance and acuity, so it can continue engaging the world through things like learning, problem solving, or expressing their creativity. The mind is the greatest asset that we have. It can empower wellness, and it can also be the greatest deterrent to wellness that you've ever seen. We see this in all sorts of situations where people are telling themselves that they can't be well, they can't do this, therefore they just don't. They create these physical limitations because their mindset that they just can't do it. Or they tell themselves that they're sick and they start developing symptoms without having like an underlying virus. The mind can also push them to the next level, get them to a level that they never thought they could do, because it's encouraging themselves. And so some of the ways that we see the best do it around the world is looking at natural light and bright colors. We know that sunlight, natural light, is correlated to high outcomes in improving health, improving wellness, improving mental status of all kinds. You see hospitals changing their designs to improve more light, and they're seeing greater patient outcomes in the immediate return from it. We also know that there's boatloads of research behind people that spend more time out in the sunlight have less things like depression and mental conditions that worsen. Brighter colors, on the other hand, are very expansive in the way that they present things. They reflect more light, and they also give you the illusion that something is larger than it is, which comes to the free space. When you have the natural light, it's something that's well lit. It's a bright, inviting area. Stacked with bright colors, we now see a more expansive free space in our mental image of what we're actually looking at, which gives people that idea of, oh, I have the space to maybe try something new, or maybe they're a little bit shyer, and I'll have this space where people are less likely to notice what I'm doing. And it gives them that mental check mark to say, hey, maybe I can check out this physical thing. And when you start looking into these spaces, you're like, oh, well, maybe I can't paint the walls. Maybe I don't have windows, or maybe I can't go outside. The idea is looking for ways to integrate this that you can control. Something like as simple as a plant can provide a lot of this that we've seen. Also, wearing bright colors. You can have encouraged your class to be a bright color theme. Clothes can also have the same impact as reflecting the light around them. But once you have all of this together, you need to get people on board and staying around. And this is where I believe reward systems or incentives for the programs and stuff that you're designing are some of the most important, because the mind likes to continue engaging the world. And one of the things it's engaging it with is how to problem solve, attaining a reward that you might want. A lot of people immediately go to, what can I give these people? I might not have the budget. And what we say is, think more creatively. The idea is to expand what you're already looking at and include things that you haven't considered. And in reviewing your budget, look at the motivating factors. What rewards are going to be most effective, are going to be most correlated to why they're there in the first place? Sometimes it's culture club status. Culture club is a nice way to say you've manufactured this club within your club of people who've earned their stripes doing some wellness-oriented tasks together as a collective. You see this with t-shirts for milestones. There are many equipment manufacturers that when you've hit a certain amount of distance on a bike or elliptical or something, they actually mail people shirts and then go live on social with different posts about how they can do it. You can create the same experience in your club without having to break the bank or even do much of anything. I've seen everything from cufflinks to t-shirts to bandanas to bags, relatively inexpensive, all the way through some significantly expensive things to create this kind of culture of inclusion through wellness. Or people really like control. One of the biggest things having the free space does for people to boost mental wellness is giving them the ability to have control over what they want to do. They feel that they get to choose, they get to choose, they get to choose. So they feel like, oh, I have all this space, I have this different equipment, I have different ideas. Now I can try them because I have free space. The same thing applies when you're trying to incentivize and reward them. A lot of people are very tied to philanthropy or giving to charities. And I know a lot of clubs around the world do at least one big drive a year towards specific charities. Maybe getting the option or opportunity for them to select, nominate certain charities and be the driving factor behind them getting the selection gives them that same control without really changing your cost, your budget, or really implementing anything radically new that requires you changing anything. So now that you've got a foundation of being physically well that supports the mind, so you have a body that's well supporting a mind that's well, now you get to go to the fun part, which is really the pinnacle of the pyramid and what the private club industry is known for its best, which is promoting hospitality. Because social wellness is connecting and engaging with others to build a community that's in a meaningful way to the people within the community. I always remind people that solitary confinement is one of the biggest punishments we know of in a punishment style system, right? Because humans need connection and support to really have their mind operating at a high level. Once they've been engaging the world, they need to connect in meaningful ways with somebody and have it reciprocated back so that they achieve kind of their total wellness as a person. So to do this, you want to think about a few things, but number one for me is creating a cooperative competition, because competition can shy away people that do not like to compete. They're just not driven by competition and it doesn't matter to them. Some people are really integrated into social groups and hanging out and being supportive. Some people don't mind having one or the other or both. And so I always like the idea of bringing them all together, because sometimes you can cooperatively compete, not against each other, but against what you're capable of doing and what you thought you couldn't do. And so in this, I see a lot of programs created for movement clubs, hiking, walking, sports. And what these can do is provide a few things. One, they have a physical activity basis. And in the mental, they have the ability to bring in new people that might not know anybody, maybe newer to the club, or just aren't well known in the club. And they want to be more engaged, because the more engaged, the more meaningful their reach is within the club. We know the more they're likely to come back and spend more time there, which is only going to turn into more return on value of that customer for your club. But I've also seen things like healthy cooking clubs. Sometimes the leadership teams feel like they are a level removed and the membership doesn't get to interact with them. So it creates some kind of disconnect in a club where you're really trying to all be connected meaningfully. And I've seen healthy cooking clubs be turned into the leadership team is now your taste tester group, and what groups can make the healthiest thing that tastes the best, and the leadership team stuck eating it all. And it creates an idea of like, hey, we're all in this together, who can do this fun thing while they're getting a chance to be social in groups. They're getting to focus on a wellness-based activity, and they're connecting with leadership and other members within the club that they might not have had an opportunity to. So with that, you want to design it around an idea that it's support and community that's accountability driven. So in support and community, you need ways to interact and engage with them so that you can help keep them accounted for. And maybe if your club is more on the tech savvy side of things, I've seen people successfully bring in Discord groups all the way down to social media groups, or less tech savvy with strictly in person and over the phone conference call kind of style. It's all about connecting them together to discuss a few things. One is, how are you doing? Do you feel like you're progressing? Or engineer topics that break the ice about how they feel in a wellness sense, and what do you think you could be offering or doing that could make it better the next time? As well as saying, did you fall off the wagon to some degree? Like, is there something that's in your way? Is there something people can help with? Because the bigger the community gets, the more you find those people that can actually plug in and help. And so designing these situations where they can be together, focus on something that is physically well, whether it's nutrition, whether it's physical movement, connected through a social environment where they can be mentally stimulated together while meeting new people to connect meaningfully with each other, creates this full pyramid approach that allows you to go from the wellness that you're at to the wellness that you hope to achieve and then achieve it, all done through your club, because you're creating the environment for it, or at least setting the table for it to be as optimal as it can for them to proactively pursue going after it. And so now, looking forward at this, we want to see how one of the best do it, which is Mr. Les Johns down at Gray Oaks.
Thank you, Jeremy. You know, the thing we do here at Gray Oaks, we have a wellness program, and what it's based off of is basically it helps us to filter into all of our other programs. So we need to know basically, you know, where the person needs to go next. So it's more of a multi-dimensional integrative approach, treats the person as a whole. Some of the things that we do here, some of the programming includes medical presentations, lecture series, medical assessments, flu shots, CPR instruction, physical therapy, wellness coaching, nutrition services, spa services, mind-body classes, clubs, and groups. And what's great about this is that the way we try to integrate it into the actual community is it allows us to bring in a lot of different approaches to really, we have 1,280 memberships. So you're looking at over 3,000, 3,000 people here on campus at one time with guests and with members. So what we want to make sure of is they're going to the right place. And this allows us to do it in the best manner. Some of the medical presentations, we have doctors in town that come in to present. We don't just have one doctor in town. We have multiple doctors. We don't want to, just have one opinion. We want to have lots of opinions. Our nutrition services, we have a dietitian on staff that's contracted out, and they work with our F&B, our chef. They do, like you were saying, some of the cooking clubs. So it's kind of nice working hand in hand. So we try to put everybody in front of the members as much as possible so they get to know them as well. So again, it just helps to be able to service all the members in the correct manner. So we also have what we call wellness therapy. Basically, the whole approach here is to treat everybody holistically. Some of the top reasons why we have wellness therapy is aches and pains, stress, enhanced athletic performance, memory concerns, sleep issues, optimizing health and well-being, and then some other therapies, because other therapies are not working. One of the things that we do here is we do HRV, which is heart rate variability testing. So basically they will test them in the beginning. That's one of our assessments. And then once we go through the program and have about 30 to 60 days, we'll retest them again and see where their heart rate variability is. So it's pretty extensive. And as you can see, we also have power plate classes. We call them recovery and balance classes. The goal of the class is to help clients recover. Recovery is a big thing here because our club is so active and we want to keep them on the golf course. We want to keep them playing tennis. And believe it or not, we want them to keep going to food and beverage, to our pool cafe, to our dining rooms and everything. So the more we can help them to recover from the fun that they're having every day, the better. Because we want them to utilize the club at its fullest. The other thing that we, when you say wellness anywhere, you want to be able to take what you do here at home or on travels. Not everything you can do that with, but a lot of stuff you can. We have Skinar, we have Healy, low level light therapy, cranial release technique, medical massage, manual therapy. Like I said a while ago, heart rate variability. We have a thing called life system quantum biofeedback. We have brain tap, and then we have the power plate pulse. If you don't know what that is, it's a handheld vibration apparatus that basically helps you recover. It also helps you, get the blood flowing. So therefore you can actually warm up the muscles before you do an activity. So some of these things you can take with you. You can do at home. Some of the things you can't, but a lot of the stuff that you actually can. So the foam rollers is another good example. So these are just some of the things that we do here at Gray Oaks. Any questions?